welcome to the Red Half of Sheffield preview pod. As we, yes, everybody say it with me, preview another inevitable loss. This time at the hands of the back to back to back. Well, actually, that makes it sound like you've won 4 or 5, but the 3-time defending champs again. Man City, I am joined as this should be a familiar face to everybody watching. It's Mulv from the Noisy Neighbors podcast. How are you doing this afternoon, Mulv?
Chad, I'm great. Thanks so much for having me back. I really enjoy chatting with you, mate. So let's do it again.
Yeah, it won't be much me talking because I think this one's gonna get out of hand relatively early on Saturday. We were just talking before we were recording. This game is at the Etihad on Saturday, 10 a.m. start Eastern time, 9 a.m. Central for you guys in
For
the,
me,
the
yeah.
Central time zone. So I'll get it rolling with what the hell is wrong with Man City right now? We've all been so used to them being in either one of the top two positions in the
hmm
league. What has happened?
Yeah. No, great question, mate. I think, first of all, they've set incredible standards over the past few seasons, topped off with last season, doing something that never could have dreamed of in my wildest dreams, mate. Like when I was a kid, like I never thought we'd win one trophy, and they've gone and won 5 in one calendar year.
Yeah.
And it's like it's just trust me, I know, I know it's night and day, the I don't know, the current positions of our two clubs, right?
Mhm.
And I just want Sheffield United fans to know that there are loads of us City fans who truly are living in a dream world, and we know it, right? Like
Yeah.
we know
Yeah.
it. We know we got very lucky with the investment that we got, and what have you, and none of this would have been achievable without it. Um, so just know that off the top. I know we're living in dreamland. So, but along with that are the standards that we've set for ourselves over the past few seasons. Yeah, last season was amazing. I don't think, obviously I'm biased, but I don't think I've ever seen a team as good as we were the second half of last season.
Yeah.
So the one of the biggest parts of that success um, was our two number eights, Ilkay Gundogan and Kevin De Bruyne, and that combination and that balance. The balance is key, mate. Pep likes to have two eights of differing qualities. One's a bit of a controller, which I
Mhm.
would say is Ilkay Gundogan. Now he chipped in with important goals as well, so he's a special player. And the other one brings a little bit of chaos, which is De Bruyne, right?
Yeah.
Probably the most creative player in world football. And that balance of those two with Rodri behind them is has led to probably one of the best midfields in football history. So two of those players are missing, right? Ilkay Gundogan went to Barcelona. Kevin De Bruyne has been injured for the majority of the season. And then the third one, Rodri, has had a bit of a weird season in that he lost his head against Notts Forest and got a 3-game suspension for a red card. We won 0 of those matches that he missed.
Wow.
Um, so there's 3 losses there. So I think inevitably setting such high standards with that midfield and that combination being missing all season, there was naturally going to be a drop off. So whereas last season we were playing at a 9 or 10 level, we're probably, we've dropped. We're probably at like a 7, something
Yeah.
like that. But I think it makes sense considering you've lost those players and you're having to bed in new ones or find ways to get back to those standards that were almost impossible and never been done before. So I'd say that, but I'd say we have issues in all 3 lines. Um, at in the back, we're just not as good as at building up as we had been. I think some players overachieved last season, particularly Ruben Diaz, in his build up play. He's
Yeah.
not our best guy on the ball. But last season he was really good at it somehow. Um, we're, we're having individual lapses of concentration at the back, which maybe comes with a bit of complacency. having been, having won everything. In the middle, again, I just spoke. We're missing key guys in the middle,
Mhm.
and up front, we're just not as creative as we had been. So we just collectively dropped off a couple of levels, I think, and it's cost us.
Yeah, I mean, it is really shocking to watch, and I guess it's more of a from an outside perspective. You've watched City dominate for 3 years in a row, and I mean, just just bring teams to their knees in some games, and it's almost like it was in the or in the reverse fixture earlier in the season where it felt oddly enough like we had a chance,
Hmm.
and then we go down there or you guys go down there, and Rodri takes the lead and it ends up 2-1, and it's like, hold on a minute. It's like this isn't the Man City that I thought we're going to come up against, and it's just going to be a buzzsaw, and they're going to tear you apart. What like does it make you do you do you think this season, if Pep turns this around and wins you go on to win the league and say you win the FA Cup, maybe get another Champions League, go back to back. But just on the precipice of the league, if Pep turns this around in the second half of the season and you guys win the league, is this his best coaching job at Man City?
Well, that's a good one, mate. Quite possibly, because the team that won it all last year, was a pretty experienced team together.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it took. I mean, we struggled in the Champions League. I say struggled. We got quite deep a few times, but could never get past the final hurdle, right?
Mhm.
And then finally they did it. Um, so that was quite an experienced team. And again, the two key cogs. I mean, three if you count Riyad Mahrez. Yeah, and I think we probably should. A
Yeah.
key contributor with goals and assists. Um, so he's missing as well. So if he manages to win, which would be this season, which would be 4 Premier
Mhm.
Leagues in a row, never been done before. I think, and there's a reason it's never been done before. It's because you almost have to evolve. There has to be at least one evolution um, in 4 years, right? Which I think we're kind of
Yeah.
going through now. So to win a Premier League consecutively when one of the years is a bit of a rebuild, which I think we're experiencing. Yeah, I think you might be right, mate. I think if he pulls it off, um, it will be incredible, especially considering some of our rivals at the top really strengthened this summer, spent a lot of money.
Yeah.
Arsenal's net spend compared to ours in the past, I think it's like 5 years, they've outspent us.
Yeah. Yeah, they
Um,
have.
yeah, Liverpool rebuilt. I'm gonna discount Chelsea because I know they spent loads, but it's essentially a brand new team with a brand
Yeah.
new manager. So you got to extend them some latitude. But teams that have had managers there for multiple years now, Arsenal, Liverpool, Man United, uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, should be if one of them had have been sort of running away this year, I don't think we would catch them. Um, I think we're very lucky that none of they've all been sort of taking points off of each other.
That
So we've been lucky there. But no, I might agree with you, mate, that this could be his crowning achievement if he does the 4 in a row in sort of if you'll allow it, a rebuilding year.
and that's the crazy thing, and you touched on the last point, and I was going to bring it up. I mean, you are easily could be 10 points, 12 points behind the top of the table, and you're right there. It's like there's no, I hate to say parity when there's really not parity in this league, but it's almost like the high spenders, the Liverpools, the Arsenals, and such. You got Villa that has spent money in the last couple of
Yeah, true.
seasons. They're up there, and it's like you're just looking at City, just kind of, all right, we're flying under the radar. The only time they get talked about is if they lose or they drop points. No one talks about them when they go and have a clinical win, and against a side like us where you beat the hell out of us. But it's just you're just kind of right there, even keel, no thrills or frills, just kind of going. And it's almost like at some point these top contenders, that aren't used to it. The only one I say Arsenal are kind of used to it, where they've been for the last couple of seasons. Liverpool on a rebuild, they don't necessarily have the players that know what it takes to get all the way to the finish line. Second half of the season, City's going to turn it on like a light switch, and it's going to go before you know it. They're right past you. If Pep gets if he waves his magic wand and City come out the gates the first of the year, January, on like gangbusters, they don't lose a game to the end of the season. Everybody's going to be like, where the hell did these guys come from? They were supposed to be middle of the pack. When I say middle of the pack, 6th, 7th, and here they are. Look at them. Oh, top of the league, and they're hoisting another trophy.
I don't think either scenario would surprise people. Like, I don't think it would surprise people if the complacency set in, De Bruyne doesn't get back to his best. We continue to ship goals like we've been doing. I don't think that would surprise anybody because that's what they've seen for a few months now, But it also wouldn't surprise people if we did go on like a 12-game winning run that we've done over the past few seasons in this back half of the year. So either nothing would shock me, honestly.
Yeah.
So
all right. So we all know about the big names. Haaland didn't play. Haaland didn't play Boxing Day or day after Boxing Day. Who's an under the radar player that you think's going to start Saturday? Because let me precipice it that by this. One, do you think you're going to rotate the squad a little bit because you're going up against us and we're terrible? And if so, who's an outlier player that you would key in on for us United supporters to watch and be like, okay, he's going to be a handful. He's going to cause the backline problems, so on and so forth.
Okay. So to answer your first question, I think there will be rotation. We played yesterday, and it was a slog, and we had to come from behind to win. The boys had just been out in Saudi Arabia, doing that thing. So I think definitely there's going to be a need for rotation. We don't have a lot of fit, what you would call our first 11. John Stones went down with an injury. He's definitely going to be out. Haaland's out. Doku's out. Obviously, De Bruyne's out. He's on his way back, but I don't think it'll be in time for the weekend. So it's hard. It's hard to. I mean, anybody I name is kind of a really good player.
Yeah, well, I'm
sorry.
No, it's and that's. I mean, Jack, you could throw Jack Grealish.
Yeah, okay. I'll give you a couple names, and it gives me a chance to talk about a couple of players. I do think Jack Grealish is. I think Jeremy Doku's arrival at the club has lit a bit of a fire under Jack Grealish in terms of his output. Like, he's really good role player in terms of holding on to the ball, slowing things down to let City, advance up the pitch and do that little bit of control that they do. You've seen it. A lot of clubs play deep against us, and it's because we pin them back. And Jack Grealish is a big part of that. So he's been good. He's been really contributing with goals and assists lately. So look out for him. He's sort of finding a really good form. Phil Foden, I think, in the absence of Kevin De Bruyne, and with Pep moving him to play more central in the 8. Remember I talked about that balance of like Gundogan and De Bruyne? Well, when Kevin's out, and you saw it in the Champions League final, Pep really doesn't hesitate to move Phil inside to be one of those central midfielders, and he's so silky in there. He was great yesterday against Everton, man of the match, I'm sure. So watch out for him. He's sort of finding his. He's having a really good impact on the side. I think a lot of people will say about Foden, yeah, he's great, but when is he going to take that inside role? When is he going to, have his moments where he carries the team? If he's that good as you say he is, I hear that quite a bit. So I think he's really found some form. So Grealish, Foden. If I had to give you somebody sort of lesser known, Rico Lewis is one of Pep's favorites. He's a kid. I think he's only 18 or 19 years old. and he's so courageous, which you sort of have to be one of Pep's favorites. He's so versatile. He can play right back. He can play in the midfield, anywhere really, next to Rodri or even further forward. I would venture that you'll see him this weekend, Chad. So look out for Rico Lewis, and I would say not a physical presence at all, which is really his only flaw.
Yeah.
But other than that, on the ball, so brave in tight spaces. So look out for Rico Lewis as maybe the sleeper.
Okay. Okay. All right. So let's get down to it. How bad's it gonna be?
Well, if I can for a minute put myself in your shoes, or really most clubs in the Premier League, and if I'm talking about our weaknesses, like you started off the show by asking what's going on with City, they're not at their dominant best, and that's true, and the reasons for that and how you might exploit them. I would say, yeah, we've got mistakes in us at the back. We had another one yesterday where, under a little bit of pressure, we made a bad decision or two, and Everton were able to capitalize. So I would say we're likely to give you, a couple of chances, and you just need to take them.
That's our problem. That's our
Yeah.
problem. You could hand gift us a 1-on-1 against Ederson, and we would send it 17 rows in row Z. That's the problem. That's the problem with the quality of players, or the lack of quality of players we have, and the lack of experience on the ball. That's what hampers us. We're not going to have the ball much, but for probably 15 to 18% of the game. That's what it's going to boil down to. Hell, it might be as low as 11%. But if you control the ball and we just sit in and defend. We'll have two chances that'll probably fall to us in, early moments of the game, and we won't take them because we just don't have that quality, finishing ability, anything. It's just this is a bottom half of the championship side in the Premier League, and that's all we're gonna get. You can go down to the championship and see these teams that have quality chances and don't put them away. That's what it is, because we're only gonna have one or two chances a game, and if we don't take those, we're not gonna get anything out of it. I mean,
no, that's true, mate. If City have one of those games where they're not fluid, where the tempo is slow and the passes are sloppy, and we give you more chances than we would if we were on form, I think that's it. You're right. It's going to have to be a combination of you guys doing something that you haven't typically this season, which is take your chances, and City, dropping another couple of levels, just having a properly bad game. Maybe there's a red card or something like that.
I mean, it would take that.
Yeah.
Because we love, hell, against Luton, we conceded 2 own goals. So
I just watched it before I jumped. I wanted to make sure I'd seen it all because you and I were messaging during the game. I was behind, and I had to go when it was 2-1. Sheffield United were winning 2-1, and the way things were going, I was like, they're cruising. They'll probably score again. And then I just watched it back, and 2 of the most unlucky goals I've ever seen.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah,
no kidding. I mean, it was at times we're our own worst enemy, and everybody was beating the drum to get Hacking Bottom out. He's terrible. He's not doing anything with the players. Then we bring Wilder back in. Oh my God, we got a result against Brentford. Oh my God, here we go. Relegation push. Staying up, push, alive. Then Luton. I mean, they scored 1 goal and then 2 own goals.
Yeah.
Who was it against? Villa. We have Villa dead to right. We're probably still playing that game along with the Spurs game. Okay, Villa need a late equalizer. Bang, there it goes. I mean, so we're pissing our chances away. The team isn't good enough. The manager is terrible. He's not. The only reason they brought him in is because, oh my God, it brings back the good memories. So he's in good faith. We're going to be relegated by maybe the middle of February because we're so far off of it now that everybody's like, oh man, we got to give a new manager a chance. Here, you brought him in, you had 5 games. We won one, drawed one, I believe, and that's it. We lost the rest of them. It is what it is.
Well, I for one look forward to playing you guys next season in the championship.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? That'd be nice. Yeah, everybody should. Well, not to mention that every one of our outfield players is out of contract, and they haven't even started They haven't started negotiations with none of them to get a contract through the door right now to get somebody signed for next year. So you're looking at a team that's going to get relegated, going to go to the second division and have not a one player, maybe two off the top of my head. 2 players on the team for next year. So you're going to have to rebuild an entire squad with an owner that's trying to sell the team that doesn't want to spend any more money. Sounds like we're going to be down there for a while if I was me.
Maybe we'll see you there.
Oh, trust me, it would be so fun. That division is so fun down there.
I know it is fun because we often get threatened or laughed at by United fans, Liverpool fans, Arsenal fans. You're gonna get relegated to the championship for what you've done or whatever. And I'm like, don't threaten me with a good time.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean? I've been there and done that, and it was great. And you know what? If we did, we'd be back and we win the Premier League before Man United. I guarantee you that.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I don't see them winning the Premier League, and I mean they're gonna have to. They're just
the most expensively put together squad in world football. That team, and they're absolutely shocking, mate.
Oh, they're them and Chelsea are almost spitting images of each other. How you would think that American owners' sports model would succeed in a world in a country that has already been proven that you can't buy the best 11 players and put them all in the same field and expect to win every game. It's not going to happen.
That's the misunderstanding, mate. It's not just about money. You have to have an elite coach with and be really good in the transfer market. And I know City have spent loads. I'm speaking to a Sheffield United podcast here, mate. You know it. I know it. We've spent loads. And I don't mind complaints from, a Sheffield United about how much money City have spent. But what I don't want to hear is calls of cheating from clubs that have spent more than us and are rubbish. You know what I mean?
No kidding.
Yeah,
no
Man United.
That makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
But
so
what is did you give a score prediction? I don't know. We got off on a tangent. What is it? 5, 6, 7, 1?
I didn't give one, mate. Nah. I mean, the way things are going, we haven't had a clean sheet in God knows how long. So I'll give you at least one goal.
Yes. Small victories. Small victories.
And when Haaland's probably not going to be there, so I don't know. I don't think it'll be a large margin, honestly, mate. It could be a 2-1, a 3-1, something like that.
That's
it could be a 1-1.
No,
God, no. We will see.
No, I think I'm there with you on the probably a 3-1 scoreline. I think you guys. It's not a clinical City, but you get scrappy enough goals to give you a comfortable margin at the end. Well, Mulv, give the people watching and listening to this the social media so we can check you guys out.
Yeah, so I'm Mulv off Noisy Neighbors podcast. We're an American-based Man City podcast. It's run by me and my mate Joey. Just a weekly show. So you can find it on any podcast apps. Not that you'd want to listen to us, but if you want to see us on social media, we're on Twitter at NoisyPod.
Perfect. And if you guys, I don't know how the hell anybody be watching this and haven't subscribed to our channel, Red Half of Sheffield on Twitter. X is Red Sheffield. Go follow us over there. And until next time, when I preview another inevitable. Hold on. We play Gillingham after this, so it might not be an inevitable loss. We might have a victory on our hands. I will leave you this. Up the blades.